Hello, welcome to a continuation of our class on circuit theory. Previously, we've done an introduction to circuit theory and I've also looked at terms associated with circles. We've also looked at theorem 1 and used the examples to illustrate how to answer questions involving theorem 1. Today, we want to look at theorem 2 and theorem 3. First, let's look at theorem 2. The theorem 2 states that the angle subtended in a semicircle is 90 degrees. A semicircle is half of a circle. And to identify a semicircle, you will need to identify a diameter. A diameter is a line that divides a circle into two equal parts. It will run from one point on the circumference to another point on the circumference, passing through the center. So if you find an angle that is formed starting from the end points of the diameter in a semicircle, that angle is 90 degrees. Likewise, if you look at this, the angle ADC, from endpoints of the diameter to the semicircle, this angle is also 90 degrees. So theorem 2 states that the angle subtended in a semicircle is 90 degrees. Let's look at theorem 3. The angles subtended in the same segment of a circle are equal. A segment, like we've defined earlier, is a part of a circle that is bounded by an arc and a chord. So assuming we draw a line from A to D, this shaded part is a segment. The unshaded part of the circle is also a segment. Now, this is a chord. From the endpoints of a chord, you form an angle in a segment. From the endpoints of the same chord, you also form an angle in the same segment also. So this theorem 3 states that these two angles that are formed in the same segment are equal. In other words, angle ABD, as this angle here, should be equal to angle ACD, this. So assuming that this angle here now is 30 degrees, then here will also be 30 degrees. You can also see that theorem 3 in the minor segment. Assuming you form an angle from A and D in the segment, and another angle also from A and D in the same segment. Let's say that here is E and here is F. So in this case, angle AED will be equal to angle AFD. We will now look at an example to illustrate the application of theorem 2 and theorem 3 in answering questions. Join us again.